Good day, this is Carol from Homesteading Made Easy. Today I'll be making some pie. This is my pie crust. I mixed that together already. Here's the recipe I used. I did use lard, and a tip that my mother-in-law gave me, if you use lard, use at least a 1/4 cup less than Crisco or other kinds of shortening. So I mixed this together, and as I was mixing it, I grabbed a fork because I always used a fork to mix my pie crust. I don't know, other than my mom always did it that way. And I was thinking, well, wonder why she always used a fork. And just out of habit, I grabbed a fork to mix my pie crust. But I can't go ask her because she's not living anymore. So I don't know. Do other people use forks too? It's just a question I had. And I will be making mincemeat pie. I did a video on how I make my mincemeat. Now it's all ready to put in the pie crust, and I have apple pie filling that I had made a video of. And I'm gonna make pumpkin pie too. Actually it's not real pumpkin, it's butternut squash. That's what I use. Butternut squash are easier to can. And here's the recipe that I will use for pumpkin pie. I got this recipe from my mother-in-law, so I've used it a lot. As you can see, I had to put it on a different card so you're able to read it. So there's the pumpkin pie recipe I use. I'll probably make 2 pies. Then I'll put it in the unbaked crust. And I decided today, these pans used to be my mom's pie pans. She always used them at home. And I had them for quite a number of years already. And I very seldom I use them. But today I decided, you know what? I'm going to use those. So for my crust, I just get some dough. Actually, I want to put some flour on the table first. I do that so to make sure that my crust is rolled out big enough. You can always cut off some. Now put in 1 quart is enough for 1 pie. Some people don't like mincemeat. Around here they do. I actually got this recipe from my mother-in-law too. So my husband thought this is his favorite pie, so I should make them too, and I've been doing that for many years. We don't get it very often. Then you want to take a smaller amount of dough to put on the top. My mincemeat and apple will get crust on top. Should be big enough. That's to measure to make sure it's big enough. This is a trick my mom used to do, and I've always done it this way. There's different options of doing it. To make slits on the top. Then I put a little bit of water around the edge of this crust before I put on the other part. And then you can press it together and it stays together a lot nicer. You can use this again. There it is, pie number 1, ready to put in the oven. I don't know, see, because my pumpkin recipe says to turn the oven to 400 for 15 minutes, then turn it back to 350 till done. So I'll put all the pies in at once. I just go by once it looks nice baked on top and check the bottom to make sure it's baked. So I'm not sure how long I bake them. I just kind of keep my eye on them. Probably 45 minutes to an hour. Have an amazing, blessed day. As you can see, I have a little bit of dough left over. So what I did is I rolled it out and put on a little bit of, it's actually a pear butter instead of apple butter. We have a pear tree here. So I made, a number of years ago, I made some pear butter. So you just roll it out, flip it over, like take a fork, press down the edges, and you bake it with the other pies until it's done. And it's a nice little snack for the children to eat. They like it. So yeah, just put it in the oven put it on the pan. I have a pan here, I'll put it on the pan and put it in the oven and bake it until it's done. Prepping to make my pumpkin mixture. If you wonder what scald milk is, you just heat up your milk till there's a little bit of skin on the top, then you turn off your burner. I got all my crust ready, my spices, got my eggs separated. I'll be putting the rest of my ingredients in here, whip up my egg whites and add that, then I'll put it in my pie shell. And usually there's a little bit left over, a little bit of the mixture left over, that not all of it goes into the pie shell. So I usually put that in a little container and put it in the oven, bake it, and most times that gets eaten first. A little tip, as you pour in your mixture into the pie shell, you want to stir it a little bit because the egg whites have a tendency to come to the top. So you want to make sure you get the bottom of the mixture into the pie shell too. Because like I said, the egg white has a tendency to come out first. So you want to mix it as you pour it. Just a little bit. You don't have to mix it a lot. Just a little bit. So I just got done switching the ones that were on the bottom rack to the top rack and put the ones that were on the top rack on the bottom because my burner's on the top. The reason I switch them is so the top ones don't get as, so they don't burn. And so the bottom ones get baked too. That's just my preference because like I said, my burner's on top. I don't have a burner on the bottom of my oven. So I do that so they bake more evenly.